This is post-edit Chave here. I'm just warning you in advance that I will be popping up quite a few times throughout this video. So just prepare for that.
For today, in the name of freedom, we take the battle to them.
Hello and welcome to something I've never done before, and I'm really excited to do this, and that is a tier list ranking. Now, this template was created by Cody Leach, of course, just a staple in the horror community. A really awesome dude, and yeah, I basically, well, to be honest, this is technically the tier list from his surviving the horror icons video. I just went ahead and renamed the categories because those are basically the ones from his ranking horror icons video. Now, I've never used tier maker before, so I don't know how to get rid of these images. So the ones that I don't acknowledge are the ones that I haven't seen. So we have, oh god, there's so many. Alright, starting off with Angela from Sleepaway Camp. I will put her in rejects or memorable enough. I'm gonna put her in memorable enough. Mainly because as a character, she's not that interesting, but she's somehow, like, she's just a person, right? He's just they're just a person, and there's nothing supernatural about them, and they just somehow survive because they are surrounded by the dumbest characters in history. Actually, I should not say that. The Strangers are coming up. So yeah, Angela, as far as a character goes, she's not that interesting, but she creates for some good sequences, much like the ending of Sleepaway Camp. But yeah, I mean, I don't think she deserves to be in rejects, mainly because of the next one we have up. And I'd be insulting Angela if I said she was on the same level as Annabelle. Annabelle is just the most boring character, probably on this list, if I'm being honest with you. I absolutely hate Annabelle. She is so stupid. She's basically she's just an item. And that just sucks because when you compare, it's a killer doll, but it's not really a killer doll. She's just I wouldn't say conduit, but she's essentially just the item that brings about the demon, Malthus. So, yeah, I can't stand Annabelle, I'm sorry. She literally just sits there and turns her head. I'm more of a Chucky guy, villains who actually get up and move around, who have a personality, who can speak. Okay, that's enough of that. I don't know who this is. I think that's the Creeper from Jeepers Creepers, but I have not seen that, so can't really put that there. Valak. I have only seen The Conjuring 2, so I'm gonna have to put her in memorable enough. The reason why I'm doing that is just because I don't really have much interest to watch the Nun movies, and I've heard that they're pretty crap. Well, I've heard the second one is actually, better than the first one, which standard wasn't high apparently. But yeah, as far as just the villain of that movie goes, I quite liked Valak, but yeah, I don't think I'm in the position to put her in bloody good because obviously I don't know her entire story. So yeah, Pennywise, man. Oh, God. Between these two, honestly, Pennywise is really, really good. But I think just the fact that his ending cannot be done correctly. I don't know why they struggle to do it so much in live action, in movies. I'm gonna have to put Pennywise in killer. It sucks, man. Especially this version of Pennywise, Bill Skarsgård's version, who is actually really cool. He was the first character to really scare me. because when that It movie came out, I never watched a horror film in my life. So when I saw Pennywise's face, I genuinely got terrified of him. But yeah, man, I cannot put someone who basically, to kill him, you just bully him. I can't put that in iconic. I'm sorry. I love Pennywise, I really do, but I can't put him there. So yeah, unfortunately, Pennywise, I'm sorry, my man. God, the Wrong Turn cannibals. Do I even need to say anything here? They are literally the most. They're just like, they're not even characters. They're just nothing. So I don't really know what you want me to do with them. I mean, if there's anyone who puts them in something that isn't rejects, please, I need an explanation. Yeah, they are definitely going there. Next we have Billy from Black Christmas. I'm going to put him in memorable enough. Just more rejects. Okay, no. Again, not the same level as Annabelle. Yeah, I mean, Billy. It's been a while since I've seen Black Christmas, but he is more of a background character. In that, in the first movie, he doesn't really show his face. It's more in the follow-up, where we learn about it was his mum who fucked the son, and God, please, I don't want to go through that again. So yeah, he isn't really the most interesting character, if I'm being honest with you. If you can't tell from my vagueness of the description of Billy, it has definitely been a while since I've seen Black Christmas. But yeah, he's going in memorable enough because of the fact that he creates for such a terrifying movie. Because obviously there are some people here who, as you know, obviously are supernatural, like Valak. Valak is supernatural, Annabelle's supernatural, but that is creepy. But the thought of someone being in your home is the scariest thing in the world, and that is why Billy, I think, is going in memorable enough. Then there's Candyman. Actually, can I just move the creeper thing down there? Thank you. Then there's Candyman. I am going to put Candyman in. I'm going to put him in Killer. And I'm going to put, actually, you know, I'll put him just below Pennywise. Just below Pennywise. And that's just because of my bias towards Pennywise. But Candyman is such an iconic character that you would be hard-pressed to find someone who doesn't know anything about him. You know? And, like, it's such an iconic look. Tony Todd is Candyman. And, you know, everything with the hook and the bees, his voice, you know, be my victim. You cannot get, you know, well, you can, but he is like at the top of people who just everyone knows about. You don't even need to see the movie to know who Candyman is. And someone like that, I just think has to be at least in Killer. We'll see. He might go into iconic, maybe, but the only reason I say is because I've only seen the first Candyman, and it was a while ago. So, again, just like Black Christmas, memory is a bit iffy there. But I think he definitely deserves to be in Killer. Then we have, that's the Tall Man. I have not seen the Tall Man. So, okay. Hannibal Lecter. Sorry. Where do I even begin with him? He is one of the biggest icons in horror, and you know, a very underrated one, because whenever you ask someone for a horror villain, very few say Hannibal Lecter, and it's shocking, especially considering how little he's in the first film. But Anthony Hopkins just plays him so well, and it's unbelievable. And I am basing this purely off of when Anthony Hopkins played him. I know there's other actors who have played Hannibal Lecter, but god damn it, that is an icon. I mean, really, what more do I have to say? He, like, oh my god, he's brilliant. He steals every scene he is in. Literally, he basically just tells the camera, look at me, it's my time now. Every single scene, he steals the show. So yeah, oh my god, oh my goodness. And then we have Freddy, who, yes, I will have to, kind of put him above Hannibal there, which does kind of suck. Freddy is an iconic for so many reasons. His look, his voice, the whole story about it, which, by the way, my mum never knew that Freddy isn't real. She never knew that he's in your dream. I don't understand how she's been around for so long. No, okay, that just sounds mean. I don't know how she never knew about that. The movie's called A Nightmare on Elm Street. Freddy Krueger is not real, so she never actually knew that. But another, the main reason why Freddy is an iconic, I mean, there's so many, his outfit, his voice, yada yada yada, but mainly because of Robert Englund. Robert Englund playing Freddy is one of the best, I was about to say comic book castings, one of the best movie castings ever. And he's just brilliant. He's not perfect. He's not perfect, obviously, especially from, 5 and 6. But, yeah, for the most part, you don't get, as far as like 80s horror villains go, it's hard to find someone who was never scared of Freddy Krueger. Shut up, frog. It's very hard to find someone who wasn't at least at some point scared of Freddy. Just because you can't run from him, you can't escape him. Everyone falls asleep eventually. And I think that whole concept is just terrifying. That there's a villain, that there's a killer in your dreams. So, yeah, I mean, I could go on and on. Damien, I have not seen your movie, my friend, so I know that's The Omen, but I have not seen it. Oh, Ghostface. Ghostface, Ghostface, Ghostface. You know what? Oh my god. Do I put him in killer or iconic? The only thing holding him back from iconic is the actual concept of Ghostface. So I think I am going to put him at the top of killer. The only reason why I'm putting him there is because, unlike the others here, Ghostface is not a single person. It's a different person each movie. And, well, I mean, in most cases, it's multiple people in each movie. So Ghostface is more just like an alter ego, if you will. Kind of like the shut the fuck up, god damn it. It's basically like the Batman to Bruce Wayne. And then we find out who Bruce Wayne is at the end of the film. And I think that another reason why that it kind of isn't negative for Ghostface is because the killer reveals don't really live up to what they should be a lot of the time. They are, disappointing sometimes. Scream 1, fantastic. Scream 2, brilliant. Scream 3, hell no, absolutely not. Scream 4, yes. Scream 5, I feel like Liv should have been the killer. I can't lie, Liv should have been the killer. Then Scream 6, God, the worst freaking Ghostfaces ever. Just holy shit. Okay, so no. I worded that poorly. The worst killer reveals ever. The Ghostface in Scream 6 was by far the best. When they had the mask on and the cloak, by far the best Ghostface. But yeah, as far as like the killer reveals actually go, sorry, that's the only reason why Ghostface is down there. Jason Voorhees. Jason. I think he's going to be our first entry into Bloody Good. Jason is just he's a tough one because he's kind of hindered by how shit his films are. And I know that the Friday the 13th fan base is extremely defensive of their franchise. But that franchise is just really weird because, to be honest with you, apart from Jason X, which is just dumb fun, and the reboot, well, I say reboot, the 2009 movie, I really can't enjoy any of those films. I really can't. They're just too dumb and I would say too horny, but every single one of those movies is the same shit over and over and over. The only slightly different one is Jason Takes Manhattan, where the same thing happens on a boat, and then he spends the last 10 minutes in New York. I can't. Especially Jason Takes Manhattan definitely does hinder the character a lot as well, because in that movie he isn't really intimidating anymore. You know, he's just kind of this walking buffoon. I don't know. Jason, I mean, his look is iconic as hell. You know, I mean, most people, if you say like describe a horror film, they'll say the hockey mask. So yeah, the look is iconic, but I simply cannot put him above that just because he doesn't really accomplish much. His movies are garbage, and that is kind of what hinders him, because it just kind of goes on to just killing the same pathetic teenagers over and over and over and over. Then occasionally we'll get an adult kill, and then it's back, you know. He's not really that brutal. Well, I say he is pretty brutal, but it's just the kind of restrictions on the blood and stuff kind of decreases the intensity of the kills, so you don't feel as shocked, or you don't feel the impact of the kills as you would with someone like freaking Art the Clown, you know. So yeah, Jason, I think, is definitely gonna have to go in there. Jigsaw, John Kramer, I think is going to go into Bloody Good as well. The reason why I say that is because he's had some good, he's had some good writers on his side, like in Saw X. There, you feel sorry for him. He's basically the main character, and you want him to succeed. But then you get into all of these ridiculous things that the franchise chucks in, like something about him having like a nephew or something, and the nephew getting killed, and him like just putting people in the traps for like the dumbest things in the world, you know. I mean, you have some justifiable ones, you definitely do, like I think it was Saw 6, the healthcare movie, with, you know, when he had to put the guy in the trap that he said he escaped. You know, the guy who kind of profited off of the people's pain. You know, because obviously Jigsaw is only famous because of the people that his traps have killed. And that guy was essentially profiting off of it. So that is kind of a warranted one. And, you know, obviously there's a lot of things, like even in that same movie, one of the characters causing another character's death because he didn't like sign off on the health insurance or something like that. Then you just get things like, yeah, you're racist, you're going in, which, I mean, still fair enough, but it's not as like elaborate as some of the other ones. But yeah, I mean, his ideology, I can kind of understand, you know, like the whole, I don't kill people, I give them a choice, yada yada yada. Which, yeah, I know, don't. I know you want to say something, just don't even start with that whole thing about if he's a killer. But yeah, I just think that his entire backstory it got too convoluted, too complicated, and there were too many things that, like, for his plans had to like fall into place. You know, this character had to be there at a specific time, and this person had to open this envelope, And then, even though he died in Saw 3, in freaking Saw 3D, or hell, actually no, Jigsaw takes place in the past. In Saw 3D, he had like pre-recorded voice tapes and all this shit. Which, sorry, I need to plug the laptop in. Which, yeah, is absolute bullshit. That's the only thing about Jigsaw that I'm like, that is not possible. I'm sorry, I cannot put him any higher. Then we have Leatherface. I am going to put Leatherface at memorable enough. Just because he kind of, much like Freddy, although with Leatherface it kind of hurts him more because he's pretty quiet. You know, he doesn't really say anything. But Leatherface started off as pretty intimidating. But then, as the franchise went on, he got really stupid and goofy. Kind of like Chucky, but Chucky at least started off as somewhat comedic. So, it's somewhat pretty comedic. But yeah, Leatherface, I just think that isn't a character that you should turn into like a buffoon, you know, like just the muscle of the group. So yeah, Leatherface definitely just going there. This dude, I don't know who you are. You are actually no, you're from My Bloody Valentine. Leprechaun, have not seen your movies. I do apologize. Michael Myers. Sorry. I'm sorry. Michael is, as of right now, my favorite horror villain that I can think of. He is brilliant. The reason why I say that is because I'm never scared by old films. Like, I watched Alien the other day. And actually, the Xenomorph is there. But I watched Alien the other day. That movie is from... It's 1 year after Halloween. I was not scared by it. I was thoroughly bored. Just because I couldn't appreciate it, you know, as much as I wanted to. But I just got very bored. But with Halloween, I was both intrigued and creeped out. Because Michael Myers is such an interesting villain. And, you know, even in the sequels, they at least, they try to go some directions with him, bless him, but it just doesn't work a lot of the time. But yeah, man, it does kind of suck because Michael in like, mainly like the 5 and 6 timeline, whichever one the Thorn timeline is, then he just becomes like a henchman, you know. But as far as Michael goes, I think, like the main timeline Michael, you know, like the Blumhouse trilogy, in my eyes, I think that he's still at the top. Halloween Ends is the only thing that might knock him down. And you know, this tier list, by the end of this video, my mind could be changed on Michael, because there is one character here who I think might be above Michael, just because of Halloween Ends and how they turned him into an absolute disgrace. I have gone on about Halloween Ends so much on this channel. I'm not doing it again. I've said it before. It is possibly my least favorite film of all time, just because of what they did to, like, the character who I feared the most, you know. And that's what made Michael Myers scary, is that he seems to be just like a human, even though he's not, obviously. You know, he seems to be just like a human. His mask, there's no emotion. His eyes are just black, and you don't know what facial expression he's making out of that mask. So, and then you get to Halloween Ends, when he's just an old grandfather who, when Laurie does kill him, it doesn't even feel like an achievement, because you spent the entire film showing how weak and pathetic he is. So, yeah, man, I mean, he's at the top for now. But there is someone else here who I think might top him. Then we have Chucky, who... actually, yeah, I'm putting him in second. Chucky. Where do I even begin with this little fucker? The Curse of Chucky is probably one of, if not my favorite slasher film of all time, because it is just it's perfect in my opinion. But even just apart from Curse of Chucky, the first Child's Play, I absolutely love it. I really, really love it, and that's why when I know that I said I didn't like the first Alien. I could barely sit through it, but that is, there will be people who will be like, oh, you don't like the slow burner movies, you like the ones where they're more front and center. Child's Play is my defense for that, because most people, in fact, I haven't actually spoken to anyone who agrees with me, but most people like Child's Play 2 more than Child's Play because Chucky is more front and center. Whereas I'm the opposite. I like the first movie because he's shown less. Yeah, I mean, that's what happens when you have movies with decent human characters. Like, not Catherine, that's the actress's name, you idiot. When Karen. Karen is such a good human character, and I enjoy spending time with her. And even Andy, I hate kids. I really don't like them. But it's really, really nice when you have characters who you don't mind spending time with while you're waiting for the horror villain to show up. So yeah, and then Child's Play 2, obviously. Chucky is like pretty consistent in the first 3 movies. The third one, he gets slightly more comedic. The fourth and fifth one, he has sex and wanks. Then you get to Curse and Cult, and it's like full-on horror. He's still comedic, but it's horror. Then the Chucky show, man, it's just turned him into an absolute joke. And, to be honest with you, the show is probably the main reason why he's below Michael Myers. Because season 2 and season 3 just turned him into an absolute buffoon. He's just a full-on comedy. There's no horror in that show anymore. And to be honest with you, Chucky has he's basically asking to be taken off of this list because he's hardly horror anymore. The last time we got anything somewhat horror related was, I guess, Chucky season 1, and that was 3 years ago. So it does pain me to put him there. Then we have Norman Bates. Now, I have only seen the first Psycho. The second one is on my list, even though I really don't want to watch any sequel to Psycho because I love the first one so much. But even though I have seen it, I really hope that the second and third one do not influence my opinion on it. But Norman Bates, I think, might I really hope that the second and third movie don't knock him down, because yes, developing, like building on the character, showing more of him, showing more, giving an explanation and stuff, really just giving him more depth, I'm interested to see. But I've only seen the first Psycho, so this could very well be wrong. But I love the character of Norman Bates. Norman/Norma Bates is just fantastic. Psycho is one of the greatest slasher films ever. And this character, I think, whether he's playing Norman, whether he's playing Norma, I think Anthony Perkins just plays it so perfectly. And I really don't think that he would have done a second and third film if they would ruin his character. So I'm putting my faith in the slasher gods that Norman's character does not get ruined in the sequels. So yeah, Norman Bates, I'm gonna have to put him in iconic and second. Then we have Esther. Esther, I think, is gonna go to the top of memorable enough. And I think the reason why she's there is because she's meant to be innocent, because that's her entire gimmick, is she looks like a child. And it is really intriguing because unlike Angela, Angela is a child, to be fair. Same with Damien, but I haven't seen The Omen. Sorry, it's like 1 o'clock while I'm recording this. Esther is she's an interesting character, and I guess that's why I prefer her to ones like what's her name? Angela. Sorry. I prefer her to Angela just because she's more intriguing and more entertaining when she's on screen, because you get some really funny moments, but also like really horrifying moments. So I also think that Esther is just, I don't know, man, there's something about her that's like pretty, I wouldn't say charismatic, but kind of hypnotizing, because even you as the viewer, you know that she's the psychopath, but you still kind of are under the influence of the movie, and you're like, oh my god, it's like a child. It is a child. It still fools you. I don't know how to explain it. I probably didn't do a very good job, did I? But I tried, man. The only reason why she's not in Bloody Good is just because there's only so much that you can do with her character. And, I say that Jason Voorhees is in Bloody Good. And he has like 12 movies of him doing the same shit. Or actually, no, one time he fought Freddy. 11 films of him doing the same shit over and over. So, Esther, even though I'm going to keep her memorable enough, kind of a scam. So, yeah, I don't know. I just don't think that you can build on Esther anymore. I say that there is a third Orphan movie in the works. But, yeah, she might move up the list, she might move down. But I just think due to the limited nature of her character and what you can do with her, I think she's going to stay memorable enough. Then we have Pearl. Definitely Bloody Good. And that is definitely due to Mia Goth and her amazing acting, mainly in Pearl. My god, Pearl is, she's kind of like Homelander, if that's a decent comparison, in that you kind of just don't want to be around her, because if you say the wrong thing, you are dead. Like, even Mitzi at the end of Pearl, there was no right thing for her to say there, because when Pearl asked her if she had gotten the part, Mitzi, if she said yes, which she did, Pearl killed her. If she'd said no, then Pearl would have been like, "You lied to me!" and killed her. Anyway, so there's no winning with Pearl. She's terrifying, and she's not even that old, I don't think. But yeah, I mean, she's up there. That's young Pearl. Old Pearl is fucking creepy as hell. And I think that actually no, I'm not putting her above John Kramer. But yeah, I'm sorry, I cannot put Pearl any lower than Bloody Good, because in X she is creepy as hell, especially in the bed scene with Maxine is just absolute. It's so uncomfortable to watch, and it's horrifying. It really, really is. And oh god, as much as I kind of had like unbelievable expectations for X, because that's what people gave me. They were like, this is the best horror film in so long, it's so good, it's amazing. I was disappointed by it. So it is like my least favorite of the trilogy right now. I don't know. It is pretty close between the three of them. But yeah, I'm sorry. And actually, now looking at it, I am going to put John Kramer above above Jason, just because John Kramer is more of a character. I'm sorry. Pinhead, I have not seen the Hellraiser movies. The Strangers, I'm going to put them in memorable enough. And there's one reason why they are not above Esther, and that is because of The Strangers Chapter 1. I think that The Strangers Chapter 1 is an absolute disgrace to what these characters are. And, much like Esther, there's only so much you can do with them. But The Strangers Chapter 1, the director just doesn't know how to handle the strangers. And the thing is that he is directing Strangers Chapter 1, 2, and 3. So this is probably going to continue, meaning that once that trilogy is wrapped up, if I ever revisit this tier list, The Strangers will probably move down to below Valak. And it does suck because they are really, really creepy characters, in my opinion. Like, terrifying.
I would also like to add that once The Strangers Chapter 3 is done, we will probably know the identity of the strangers, so they will be less scary.
Basically, everything I said about Billy, you can apply to the strangers. You know, just the whole, the idea of people being in your home, and especially the strangers, like the first movie from 2008. That is, in my opinion, the scariest movie of all time. Just because I know you're not scared of it. Okay, shut up. It's the scariest in my opinion, just because I really cannot stand that idea of people in your house, because you can have as many demons as you want. You can have Insidious, where you have like the Bride in Black, the Darth Maul demon, things like that. But as something as realistic and terrifying as a home invasion, I really cannot put The Strangers any lower as of right now, because they do a good job at creeping you out, except for The Strangers Chapter 1. So, yeah, I hope I've explained that decently. This motherfucker. Art. Oh god, Art the Clown. Okay, he's obviously going in iconic, right? Now, I said to you earlier, when I spoke about Michael, there is one character who might be above him. Oh, God. And that is Art the Clown. Now, I don't actually know whether to put Art above Michael or not, because with Terrifier 3, I don't think they can diminish the character of Art like what Halloween Ends did with Michael. And, just the fact that Michael Myers has had an end to his story, whereas Art has not, I think I might have to put Art right at the top. Do I? Do I really? Because say what you want about the movies. Unlike Friday the 13th, where all those movies are crap, or most of those movies are crap, Jason isn't really a standout killer. You can switch him out for Michael Myers, nothing would change. Art, he's in crappy movies. Terrifier, the first film, is absolute garbage. The only reason to watch it is for Art. But he makes it entertaining. Terrifier 2, at least now we have a plot and a really good main character. Sienna is just perfect, honestly. She is gorgeous. And she's a badass mainly. Art the Clown, he's the new Michael Myers. He is an icon. And the fact that he's had two movies, and I mean, if you want to include All Hallows Eve, but as far as full-length films go, he's only had 2 and is already such an icon. It's insane. I think I might have to put him at number 1. I think I might. I don't know. We'll see by the end. This dude, I don't know who you are. You could be the collector. I have no clue. You look like the Children of the Corn. You are the fisherman from I Know What You Did Last Summer. I'm putting you in rejects. I'm sorry. I can't deal with this. Again, long time since I've seen this franchise. But I really don't like the fisherman. I really don't. And actually, I completely forgot this is supposed to be in order. So I'll actually put him at the top of rejects just because he's somewhat of a character. But he has no personality, obviously. He's basically Michael Myers if he was done in a boring way. The Hook, while obviously very similar to Candyman, isn't really, I don't think that's meant, either one is meant to be a rip-off of the other. I can't remember which one came first, but it's mainly the fact that the fisherman is the same character in all 3 movies, and the third one just does something so stupid with him. and like bring the zombie. It's really stupid. So I don't want to get into this honestly, but yeah, not a terrible character. Actually, yes, he is a terrible character. That's why he's in Rejects, but he's not as bad as Annabelle. Then we have Tiffany. Oh, Tiffany. Oh, Tiffany. You know, prior to Chucky Season 2, Tiffany would probably be in Killer. But now, I think I'm going to have to put her in Bloody Good. Actually, below The Strangers. The reason why is because in Bride and Seed of Chucky, she was the standout. She was like the new Chucky. And she provided something that Chucky just couldn't deliver, and that was more like silly humor. Chucky is silly, yes, but Tiffany created for that silly humor because of her banter with Chucky and their back and forth. Whether they were laughing together, they were killing together, or if they were killing each other. But then Chucky Season 2 came along, and they just turned her into a joke, into a cartoon character. And it really, really sucks because every single scene Jennifer Tilly was in, I couldn't stand her. I really, really couldn't. And I know that Cody as well. I know that Cody Leach felt the same way. And that's why I really kind of enjoyed watching his Chucky Season 2 reviews, because he did it episode by episode. But yeah, I couldn't deal with Tiffany in Chucky Season 2. Season 3 was not that much better. So yeah, I'm sorry, Tiffany, you have to go there. I love you. You have giant things, but you are, I can't put you any higher. Then we have the Xenomorph. And this is one that I have been newly introduced to. Obviously, I knew what the Xenomorph was for a long time, but I've never seen the full movie until like last week. And now that I've seen 4 Xenomorph movies and the Alien vs Predator films, so I think I have a decent idea. I am gonna put the Xenomorph in Bloody Good, because this is a creature that is not really treated in a silly way, at least not at this point in time. Because I really enjoy that, because I hate it when movies take a certain monster or a creature and they just go, fuck it, let's go stupid with it. The Xenomorph, they have kind of consistently treated as a threat, as this like world-ending, I was gonna say parasite creature, excuse me. And the whole thing about how the Xenomorph works is just so cool. Like the queen lays the egg, the face hugger pops out of the egg, the face hugger latches onto someone's face, then the Xenomorph bursts out of their chest, and then they will obviously grow into a full Xenomorph. But what's cooler is that the offspring will take on characteristics of the creature that they were inside of when they were born. And that's why Alien Cubed, Alien 3, as much as I hate seeing the dog die, it was awesome that the Xenomorph was sort of a quadruped, that it took on the characteristics of the dog, that it wasn't bipedal like a normal one, it was on all fours and kind of acted like a dog. And that's what I really liked, especially in Alien vs Predator, like Requiem, I don't know, however you fucking say the thing. Obviously it impregnated the Predator at the end of the first Alien vs Predator, and you have this, what I call the Predomorph, but I don't really know what you're supposed to call that thing, because the screen was black half the time. Honestly, the Xenomorphs are lighter than the whole movie of Alien vs Predator Requiem. The Xenomorph skin is brighter. So yeah, I'm kind of getting distracted by this thing. But yeah, the Xenomorph is just awesome. Then the Predator, I am also going to put in Bloody Good, just because It is such a fantastic creature. I love what they did with the Predator. And, you know, especially watching that first Predator film, which I did just watch this morning actually. I love what they did with it. And, you know, even its camouflage ability, it looked so good. It genuinely looked great. And I mean, that was 1987. Yeah, it was 1987. So the CGI wasn't obviously like the best thing in the world. But even looking at it now, I was like, this looks really cool. You know, I love how they did it because it didn't look like it was invisible. It looked more camouflage, and that's what I think they were going for with the Predator in that first film. And even in the Alien vs Predator movies, the camouflage thing looks really, really good. And I loved how in Alien vs Predator, they kind of treated the Predator as like their protagonist. Well, actually, no, I say that. He was more the protagonist in the second Alien vs Predator. But in versus movies, there's always the one character who gets like sidelined, and then the one that is the main focus of the movie, and the human characters side with. You know, like Alien vs Predator, the first Alien vs Predator, and the second, well, mainly the first one, the Predator. Right, the Predator is the one that the humans kind of side with, or at least the main girl. Then the second movie, the screen time is more or less even with the two, but the Predator is the one that you follow through most of the film. So again, it is the Predator. With like Freddy vs. Jason, the characters kind of side with Jason because of course he, you know, will kill Freddy. Because Jason isn't really pure evil like Freddy is. Jason is more human. Then Captain America Civil War, they sided with Steve. Well, I say they. A decent amount of people sided with Steve because, of course, it was his film. But yeah, I'm going on way too much about this. But yeah, the Predator I thought was such a badass creature. I loved its abilities, its technology, its design. The mouth is so freaking cool, and I just love how humanoid but also feral it is at the same time. It's a truly fantastic creature. I think her name is Annie Wilkes or something like that. I haven't seen this movie. I don't know who the hell that is. Then there's The Thing. Oh boy, it's been a long time since I've seen The Thing, but it's gotta go into bloody good. I mean, really, you don't know where this thing is. You don't know who it is. You don't know what it is. It could be a dog like it was in the film. The Thing is a brilliant horror villain. It's a classic. And really, in terms of creatures, there isn't really much that's better than it. So, yeah, I don't know. I can't put it low, obviously. But as far as I can't put it above the Predator and the Xenomorph. So, unfortunately, it does land itself there. I don't know what the hell that thing is. But then the final one is going to be Bruce the Shark from Jaws. I also love how I said that there's no creature better than the Thing, and then I put it below the Xenomorph and the Predator. You are going to go in... There's two ideas I'm toying with here. But Bruce is an iconic character. But I'm gonna have to put him in Killer. I don't really know why I've done this. And, you know, actually, now that I'm thinking about it, that's pretty stupid. Let me just, yeah, there we go. So, there we go. All of the creatures are in bloody good. So, I mean, Bruce is, it's difficult to explain because obviously you barely see Bruce, and unlike the Predator and the Xenomorph, yes, he's practical, but it's also really difficult to get a lot of scenes with him because he's barely on screen. I mean, most of you have heard about like what a hellish production Jaws had with the shark. And, you know, just what a pain in the ass it was to get it working. So, of course, the shark isn't in the film that much in the grand scheme of things, like especially when comparing it to the Predator, or, you know, hell, even the Xenomorph from the first Alien. Bruce is iconic, but I don't think he has earned the status of iconic or maybe even killer. Just because he's a shark, you know, he's a creature. He doesn't have any character to him. But yeah, that's just the nature of what he is. You know, you can't really change that. So yeah, I think as iconic as Bruce is, this is just the first shark, by the way. We're not including sequel sharks. Yeah, I think that this is probably where Bruce has landed. So, in rejects we have Annabelle, the Hillbillies from Wrong Turn, the Fisherman from I Know What You Did Last Summer. Memorable enough, we have Leatherface, Billy, Valak, Angela, Tiffany, The Strangers, and Esther. Bloody good, we have Bruce, The Thing, Predator, Xenomorph, Pearl, Jason Voorhees, and John Kramer. Then in Killer, we have Candyman, Pennywise, and Ghostface. And for iconic, we have Hannibal Lecter, Freddy Krueger, Chucky, Norman Bates, Michael Myers, and Art the Clown. The Art the Clown and Michael Myers thing is still a toss-up as of right now, but I think that this list is pretty decent. There's a couple things that might, you know, shift around, but yeah, as of right now, I think that this is a decent list. So yeah, I would like to just say, I mean, he's not going to see this, but thanks to Cody Leach for this template and all of this. It's a shame. I do apologize if you were annoyed that I didn't know any of these characters. I mean, I know some of their names. That's Damien, that's the Creeper, that's the Tall Man. I was going to say the Miner, but that does not sound right.
This is killing me editing it, man, because he is the Miner. Fuck's sake. Oh my god.
Leprechaun, Pinhead, I think that's the Collector. Children of the Corn, I don't know. Annie Wilkes and someone or something. But yeah, I haven't seen these movies, so I can't judge on them. But yeah, please let me know your thoughts on my list. Did it irritate you? Did it piss you off? And yeah, should Art the Clown be above Michael Myers? But yeah, I don't know about that, man. So yeah, please just let me know your thoughts on the list. And yeah, I think that is it. So if you did enjoy this video, please leave a like, subscribe, and goodbye.
Also, given that I have so many, if this video gets 5 likes, then I will do a video of my horror hot takes. Because there's some that are probably just gonna piss a lot of people off. So yeah, 5 likes is the goal.